Theo, and today, me and my friends decided to survive on this one block. Can they expand the one block, or could they go down and discover new stuff? The only way, if they go down, they're not going to be able to survive. And you're probably wondering why'd I say that? Well, because there's withers down here, meaning that anytime they go down, the withers are going to basically destroy their whole entire sets of armor. Every time a wither spawns, it's going to be pretty catastrophic. So, well, eventually, both of them are going to try to survive, while I might build challenges for them along their way. Now remember, guys, be careful. Do not fall off. Do not fall off. Like, I mean, do not fall off. There's a ton of withers spawning. There's withers down there. Eventually, the withers are summoned. They have been summoned. Now remember, each wither will make the entire sky, well, gray. So the further away you get from the wither, it basically makes the sky normal. So since they're up here, they're pretty good. So now, could they survive? Let's see. First, these two would have to gain iron. They had diamonds because of the diamond island that I spawned for them. As you can see, Andy got most of the island. And he got the singular diamond from it. Now, it's quite cold up here, so that means that at most water might turn into ice. So they have to use their resources carefully. It's gonna be deep. It's gonna be deep. Like that's the thing. It's gonna be deep in the caves. Like to get it, you're gonna have to go deep. Yeah, but like it's gonna be in the caves. Each player will talk. Well, it's gonna be on the main sky block, which is gonna have the caves. Each player no. Each player will eventually head down and continue to mine. And after deep slate level, after deep slate level, they might have a chance to find in the key. In order to get it, however, the platform might change sometimes depending on area. And new ores can spawn randomly. Meaning that so eventually both players would have to do something. It's they had two they had two op- they had two options. They either would be able to stay down here and try right. Eventually, there was an ore vein sitting right under them, allowing for deep slate copper ore, deep slate coal, and also deep slate emerald. This ore vein was pretty big, so they'd probably have to use it a lot, as there was a really big vein of emeralds down here. So, actually, the players would what? Right. But you guys are about to get something pretty valuable, right? Trial key. Eventually, the trial key platform had spawned. Yeah, you are right though. Hold up. Eventually, the players would have a brand new item at their disposal. A trial key. Wait, no, because you have water right here. That's what you use to get up. You use the diamonds as a platform. The more diamonds you mine, well, yeah. I don't know if it can hear you guys. I'm pretty sure it can't hear you guys. Now it was snow. Now it was snowing for both players above. Of now, both players would have to start improvising, since snow would start. That means you guys got to start getting smart. Eventually, something would happen. Something unexpected would happen to these players. And you're wondering what, and you're probably wondering what will happen to the players. Well, both players would get it's something pretty good. A wandering trader. A wandering trader has just spawned, meaning that both players could trade with him, and Allah fit brung a little miniature villager party, meaning that villagers were going to be on the platform coming with that wandering trader. Trader. Eventually, there was a baby villager and a couple villagers that they could use. Both players would do a lot of stuff. Oh, okay, chill. I don't, I'll, I'm gonna, I'll make sure. No, actually, I'll make sure. I'll test to see if it can hear it or not. Chill. Eventually, both players would have a massive dirt portion of the platform expand. Oh, come on. Yeah, but you guys might get blocks later on. Eventually, something would happen. Something unexpected. What do I mean by this? Well, I mean by both players would have something new happen. Something. No, you won't have to fight. Both players had to do something. Something would spawn. But what was going to spawn? The players would have something hidden spawn right under their noses. But could they find it? But could they actually find it? I eventually hid something that was literally right under them. They would have. Eventually, Andy was run. Eventually, Andy would have to find something. But what? I decided to. I decided to give him a teaser. What do I mean? Well, I mean by the players had netherite somewhere. Netherite was hiding, and both players, Andy, had discovered it. Meaning that if that netherite fell, it also had a sniffer egg. Meaning that if Andy did one wrong move, the netherite scrap and two netherite ingots were gone. Both players, Eventually, something sniffer eggs were pretty valuable, but there was also something else that would happen. Eventually, a treasure bastion structure. Eventually, a mini treasure bastion structure would spawn. But what the heck would happen? This treasure bastion had a but there was something else that the players would have to get through. Eventually, both players would have to oh shoot. Eventually, both players would have a miniature treasure bastion structure right under them. Eventually, a miniature treasure bastion. Eventually, both players would have something really valuable. Oh, you're probably wondering, what the heck is down here that's so important? Well, you're probably seeing this stuff right now, and both players would have to survive. Could they fight at the end? Could they fight at the end? Oh my god. Predicting. Okay. Both players would eventually find something. Both players found a miniature treasure bastion. And eventually Hood almost fell off his death. Eventually both okay, chill. For the video. No, I'm hosting this challenge. Eventually, something would happen. Both eventually both players requested for food. So I decided to give them food. Alright, you guys aren't no. It's gonna spawn. Your food is gonna spawn in. Let me get it for you. Eventually, both players would have a surprise once they came back. I updated their platform and it had some animals spawn in. Both players need this, but they need to do something. And one of your cows just fell off, and your sheep fell off, and another cow fell off, and another pig fell off. Eventually, both players would have to do insane stuff in order to be able to get more food. Their food supply was gone. So, Hood took out most of the animals. Eventually, more and more animals started to fall off. Some, oh, dang. Attackers had gained. A piglin raid had just been activated. I mean that A Piglin raid had just been activated. After both players had went to the miniature treasure bastion, a Piglin raid had started, meaning that players would have to start. During a Piglin raid, players would have to survive Piglins, mostly Piglin brutes. Yo, Hood is actually doing something right now. Zoglin's heading for you guys. Well, stop. No, Hood actually, most of his stuff survived. Most of his stuff survives. He still has armor down there. His chest plate is going to be gone. If he does not get it soon, his chest plate will be gone. All the way at the bottom. Yeah. A second portion of the Piglin raid was going to start. Okay, but Piglin raid is still starting. The Piglin raid will be starting in about 10 seconds. Eventually, it, actually, something else would happen. A nether raid would start. That meant both players would have to fight a ton of nether mobs in order to survive. So eventually, both players, eventually, the nether raid had started. What? And he had to run, and eventually Hook was taken down by a Piglin Brute, which the Piglin Brute slowly became a zombified pigman. After Andy sur- What? No. Right. Eventually, both players would have a loot drop. 3 obsidian would drop, and they could use that for something. You're good. It's a barrier block. It's a barrier block. You can walk on it. You're not trying to get the obsidian, bro? Bro, it was a barrier block. Andy? Eventually, both players would have to survive. But, okay. After that, Andy would have to get off. But could Hoods continue surviving? Surviving? Try to find out. Find out by next episode. So, but there was something else that would happen. A second portion of the netherite. Bro, these piglin brutes are doing nothing. And they just despawn. Okay. After Hood had to go AFK, eventually both players had to go AFK or get off. Eventually, this would be the end of the first episode. Could Hood survive? And could Andy get back to help Hood? Stick around until next episode. Peace, guys.